villa while somebody is crying uncontrollably and hyperventilating has no space in my villa, y'all. Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. So, today we are talking Love Island USA Season 8, Episode 23, and it is the aftermath of Casa, Amore. It is the aftermath. Anaya has a full-on breakdown, and it was a lot worse than even I imagined. I did a video earlier that was like, maybe they brought in Carl because Anaya was quitting the show. She was quitting the show. She was saying, that's it, that's all, es todos, es final, es finito. Originally, she went to go sit with the girls and have a conversation. However, the Casa girls and Casey and Corbin were having a conversation of their own at the fire pit and basically laughing. They were laughing at Anaya. That they did not give an F-U-C-K. You got Priya, the Persian cat, talking about some, who's married off, in a couple of, just making fun of these people. And it was really the audacity, disgusting trash behavior. So Anaya's like, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. Let me pack up my suitcase. Let me get the F-U-C-K up on out of here. Trinity is like, no, Anaya, you're not going home. You're not going to do any of this. So then Anaya got up and Melanie followed her, right? And then at some point, as they were, about to head somewhere, I don't know initially where they were trying to go, but basically Anaya kept stopping and having a full-on breakdown because she could hear everybody laughing at her. And Melanie was like, listen, look at here. This did not go the way you wanted to do, but Casey is not worth crying over. And Melanie, I need you to take your own advice. You know what I'm saying? In real life, IRL, there are some people who have the best relationship advice, and their personal life is in total shambles, y'all. No room to talk. Anaya's breaking down. She's saying, I feel so humiliated. I feel so stupid. I was trying to have faith. I was trying to evaluate the fact that we had this connection for 3 weeks, all of this and all of that. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. I've never felt so disrespected. I've never felt so humiliated. And, the way Casey came at me, had no remorse, didn't feel bad, didn't feel anything. And that's where Melanie was trying to let her know, like, listen, F him because he was on some BS and said he is an ASS hole and said, listen, we're in this prison right now called the Villa. You know what I'm saying? We're in prison right now. She didn't say prison. I'm saying it. We're in prison. You know what I'm saying? But when we get on the outside, that's why I said we're in prison. When we get on the outside, you know what I'm saying? When we come outside, when you go outside, guess what? The world is going to be better. There's going to be so many more men out there that is better than some freaking KC. And she said, listen, look at here. Why would you want to deal with KC and you're so composed, you're so pure, I look up to you, I admire you, how you love on us, how you treat us, how you are a sweetheart, how you do not deserve any of this. And if nothing else, if all else fails, if you do not find love in here, guess what? I found love in you because you are my person. And then Melanie gave us a look at the camera. But I think it was genuine. You know what I'm saying? I think it was genuine. But it got me. Anaya did get me. Listen. I'm not going to hold y'all. It takes a lot to get your girl, you know what I'm saying, to feel a certain type of way. I do not ever like to see anybody laughing at anybody crying or making fun of anybody crying. There's no bounds for that. And I thought KC, with him allegedly working in healthcare and being a CNA, where you have to be empathetic, you have to take care of people of various ages, various conditions and things and so on and so forth. And to just have nothing. You know what I'm saying? To just have nothing, not give an F. But this is what Anaya needed. I know it sucks. Like I said, we can agree that she shouldn't have done this in the first place. She should not have been so delulu about KC. We get it. But I still stand on she fell for the love bombing. And I don't want to hear after tonight that Anaya never liked KC, because you're not crying like that over no dude, over no ninja, if you didn't really like him for real, for real. Anaya's crying the rest of the night, so much so she ends up in soul ties. It takes an early, you know what I'm saying? It takes an early night. And then Trinity, Kata, and Melanie are there, and they hear Anaya crying again. Completely boo-hooing away. So then Melanie goes over to pull under the covers and it's like, stop crying over that ninja. And she's like, you know what? It's just the disrespect. It's just the disrespect. And I honestly feel like the later reason why Anaya was crying was the public humiliation of it all. This having to play out on TV, right? Because many people have been played before by a dude, by a relationship, by a marriage, right? It's the public humiliation of it all, of seeing somebody that you thought you were building a connection with for 3 weeks basically come at you cold, basically come at you like they don't give an F, like the last 3 weeks meant nothing to you, all of this and all of that, and then it turns into an argument because you got your friends defending you. But the other side of it is Tay inserted herself. That was the whole issue with both Corbin and KC that I need them to understand. The girls had smoke for y'all. Y'all should have just ate it. You know what I'm saying? But y'all wanted to have the Persian cat and Tay try to get Nuck If You Buck up in here, and it wasn't necessary. It wasn't needed. They were trying to hold the men accountable because basically KC was having Tay be his mouthpiece. Next, we got to get to these couples and these post-casa conversations. Same night, by the way. KC and Tay have a conversation. Basically, he said, listen, I don't feel bad. I don't give an F. I'm glad I chose you. And then said he was proud of her for being like his mom and defending him up there. Then we have a conversation, you guys, with Gal and Jen that was unproductive, but they still shared a kiss. Only for the next day, you guys, for Dylan and Gal to have a conversation and Gal to let him know that he still plans on exploring Kenzie. No. Jen, your days are numbered in this villa. Your days are numbered in this villa. You are furniture. You are giving absolutely nothing. You should have picked Corey or Ronnie. The moment that you saw Kenzie getting after it with Gal, you should have chose Ronnie or Corey. This wasn't it. This wasn't it at all. If you were just going to sit there and just let somebody else play with your man, you should have just brought in Corey. You know what I'm saying? You should have just brought in Corey too. You know what I mean? Like what are we doing? Then Melanie and Sincere have a conversation. So you just spent all that time, Melanie, uplifting Anaya. Literally bringing her from the bottom up. And telling her, listen, look at here, you're not going to play, let these ninjas out here play in your face. You know what I'm saying? KC's an ASS hole. KC, you know what I'm saying? He's Build-A-Bear. You know what I'm saying? You've got way more, you would have so much work to do to build him up to the person that you want him to be and everything else. Listen, you're going to find better men. And then she sits across from Sincere, listens to his nonsense, listens to his lie, and then kisses him. Talking about I got so sick of kissing those men at Casa, Amore. I was like, Melanie, great friend, terrible taste in men and relationships. Great sisterhood with you and Anaya, terrible taste in men. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like she knows deep down that this wasn't it, that she made the wrong decision. But for whatever reason, she refuses to let go of the Sincere of it all. And it's weird how, you know what I'm saying? They're like magnets, and it's toxic, and it's messy. Speaking of toxic and messy, we move on to Kata and Zach. And I don't understand how America at this point keeps voting for Kata and Zach. Zach basically was like, Zach Attack was like, listen, look here. I kissed, you know what I'm saying, outside of the challenge. I did some stuff in bed. But we're still going to be Gucci. No. And Kata just falls for it. Kata just falls for it. I don't get it. None of these men are prizes. Y'all had better men at Casa. And y'all fumbled. Y'all made mistakes. I just don't understand it. Zach thinks that he is absolved of things for the simple fact that he, you know what I'm saying, his connection basically got dumped for being racist. But that doesn't mean that you're excused. Even movie night, they can blur out her face, as far as I'm concerned. They can blur out her face, but show that Zach was not this innocent puppy. Then we get a conversation, you guys, at the kitchen with Trinity and Parita, and there's some other islanders floating around, right? Trinity lets Parita know, listen, I'm sorry for cussing your ASS out, and this is given to me that production must have said something. I'm sorry for cussing your ASS out, but listen, all of our smoke is with Corbin. All of our smoke is with Corbin and KC. You know what I'm saying? We've lived with them for 3 weeks. We got some stuff that we saw on our end that was disturbing. You don't have all the facts. You don't know everything. So for you being 10 toes down for a man that you just met for 3 days is weird, right? That was that conversation. Then upstairs in the dressing room, Tay and Melanie have a conversation that I also feel was engineered by production to squash the beef, right? And that conversation was, Tay, you know what I'm saying? She was like trying to tell Melanie, I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to, and Melanie was like, look, our issues were not with you. Our issues are with Casey. We've got all the smoke for Casey. So the one thing I do respect about these OG ladies is that they have no problems taking accountability. So all that bullying crap that some of these dumped islanders are trying to put out there, it's interesting. The behavior that I saw at the beginning of the episode from the Casa girls, making fun of somebody having a whole-on breakdown and hyperventilating, showed me their character. And you wanted to brag that you were older. But y'all dating the men the same age as Anaya. Make it make sense. And it was interesting that it was the OG girls that basically told the Casa girls, listen, you know what I'm saying? We're running this. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the other way around where the Casa girls, you know what I'm saying, but again, I think production saw something because there was a video where production, behind the fire pit, you know how like they have the different colored glass windows? There was a production that opened up the door when things got escalated. It was like security was about to be on set. Next, everyone's getting ready for bed. You know what I'm saying? It was a long night with that recoupling and everything else. And Melanie is asking TT for tea on the men. For some reason, she said that Zach Attack and Bryce were on their best behavior, but I don't believe that about Zach Attack because did I see different footage from TT and TT actually was in Casa Amore? Or is she protecting Zach Attack because she likes him? So basically, she said, listen, look at here. Sincere and Amara were kissing all up and down, bumping and grinding. You know what I'm saying? The whole nine. They were all over each other. So then Melanie goes to bed pissed off at Sincere. Like, I'm tired of hearing this stuff and you bumping and grinding. Like, she was mad. But Melanie, this is what you want. This is what you keep going back to. So it gets to a point. It gets to a point, like I said, fantastic friend to Anaya. I love the core four, but you in the Sincere thing, like we got to wrap this up. Hang it up flat screen already. Casey has a conversation with the guys as he's getting ready for bed and basically says that he needs to have a conversation with Anaya, but basically he wants to have it where there's not a group of her friends defending her. Then also TT said that in her conversation with KC that they're like Romeo and Juliet. And I'm of confusion because last I checked, Romeo and Juliet ended tragically. And they said it was them against the world and them against America or whatever else. I mean, you might not be wrong there. Then as well, I'm trying to think anything else of substance. Everybody went in the bed. Guess who was getting to it? Guess who was getting busy? Kata and Zach Attack. Trinity and Bryce looked like they were doing something in the bed. Couldn't make out if Casey and TT were doing in the bed. I couldn't tell. And I couldn't tell with Kenzie and Dylan if there was any extracurriculars that was going like besides the normal stuff. But anyways, the next morning for breakfast, I love that, you know what I'm saying, the core four went to go check in on Anaya. I'm happy that she got that cry out. And now she's like, I'm off KC. I don't want to talk to KC. I'm done with KC. And that must be like a Virgo thing. Like once you're done, but I'm a Leo. So I feel the way, you know what I'm saying? Like once you're done with somebody, it's it. It's it. You're off that, right? So she's so disgusted, but she reiterated that for her, it was really just the disrespect, the humiliation of it all that really just sent her down. Sent her down. But I love the sisterhood that the OG girls have with each other, right? So everybody's making breakfast, right? And I had a concern because I was like, I wonder if anybody's going to make Anaya breakfast, because I was very interested to see. I was actually kind of surprised that none of the OG men checked on Anaya last night. That was interesting to me. And then also the next morning with breakfast, I'm expecting an OG guy to bring Anaya breakfast. Why was it that Cal, a casa dude that's been here in the villa for only a couple of days, made Anaya breakfast? And then it was weird because KC came up right after to give TT her breakfast. But then he's going to make a comment talking SHIT, like, you know what I'm saying? About, oh, you know, did she like anything about that fake ASS omelet? She didn't like that fake ASS omelet, did she? And I'm like, and I'm wondering if Anaya heard it, and that's why she ended up going downstairs. She took her plate and stuff and just went downstairs to sit, you know what I'm saying, in the kitchen area. Because it's like, my thing of it is with Casey and Corbin, we know that you don't like Anaya. We know you've been off Anaya, but the snide comments, like just the nonsense, I'm just over it. I am just over it, man. And it seems like production's over it because they're showing us every single nasty comment that Casey's making now, right? So there's a conversation with Sincere and Melanie that was very weird and very uncomfortable, where she's readdressing the bumping and grinding, and then Sincere puts his hands in his head and he's like, I'm in the wrong if I do something right. I'm in the wrong if I do something wrong. And I'm like, dude, like you just want to kiss everything. You just want to be all up on everything. And that's the problem. There's no boundaries with y'all, especially this cast, on what y'all gonna do, what y'all consider respectful, and everything else. That y'all just want to act like wild hounds out here. Anaya has a very disturbing conversation with Zack Attack and Sincere. Zack Attack is flat out lying to Anaya's face about KC. Oh, KC missed you so much. KC was having difficulties with his decision. And I was like, really, Zack Attack? But because you're trying to tell me that man the night before that said, I don't give an F-U-C-K, had a hard time with his decision? It was on and popping night one. He already knew what it was with Trinity, and still played in her face and asked to sleep in the bed with Sydney the following night. Like, what are we doing? But KC knew he was not going back to Anaya. I don't know why Zack Attack is lying. I don't know what he's trying to do here. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was gameplay or strategy, or he was thinking that America was going to like TT and Casey, because I don't know what that was, but it was unnecessary. And then Anaya was like, I just don't feel beautiful anymore. I feel unwanted here. And that broke me. I'm not going to hold y'all. That broke me because it's like, Black women have gone through so much on this show of being considered undesired, of a lot of these male connections playing in their faces. And I know Anaya is rethinking everything Casey ever said to her in those 3 weeks, and is pissed off and feels like it was a lie, it was performative, it wasn't legit. And then you have KC, who is, you know what I'm saying, he claims he wants to talk to Anaya, but he doesn't really want to. He doesn't want the confrontation. He doesn't want to give any accountability or any responsibility. And then we get into some mess after Sincere is complaining to Zack Attack about Melanie. And Zack Attack gives him, oh, well, she'll just deal with it. And it's like, these men are so comfortable that they just know that Kata and Melanie is always going to be around, which is why I wanted them to choose the Casa Bombshells, to let them know that these men are not running anything. But I feel like, you know what I'm saying, they got way too attached with these letters, with Kata and Zack Attack having SEX so early, the lack of bombshells, you know what I'm saying, that y'all brought in. and y'all tried to overdo it at Casa, but it was too much. It was too overwhelming. The 12 men didn't have enough time to stay in there to really stake their claims on these women. Y'all really did not go hard in the paint of showing how diabolical these men are. And the problem is, even if you do it movie night, these girls are so locked in with these dudes, they don't want to give this up. Because they feel still that their partner is going to be better than anybody else at the shot at 100K. So, anyways, Corbin decides to go have a conversation with the Casa guys. And I thought he was going to have a conversation with the Casa guys to discuss Kenzie. He went over to the Casa guys to gossip about Anaya and what did Anaya do during Casa Amore so he could run that back to KC. So KC can formulate his plan on how he's going to approach Anaya and basically guilt trip her. That she should not feel as bad, that she shouldn't have done all that crying, that she shouldn't have had that breakdown, you know what I'm saying? And all this and all that she should have known what it was. I saw right through it. So what happened was, Corbin had a conversation, and Gal, you know what I'm saying? I think we watched a different Casa Amore. You know what I mean? Like y'all lived there, y'all were in the villa, but I feel like I saw different episodes. So Dylan says that he's very heartbroken that Anaya did not choose Carl. They had the best connection in the villa. They have a lot in common. They have a lot of stuff, they're both nerdy. They're both into goofy movies. He was very calm for her and all this and all of that. Then Gal is like, I don't know why she picked KC. I don't know what she saw in KC because he's the complete opposite of what Carl is. And also said, she would be kissing Carl every morning and all day and all night. And I was like, wait, what? Wait. When was Anaya and Carl kissing all day and all night? Did I miss something? Where Anaya and Carl were kissing all day and all night? Did production leave that on the cutting room floor, or are these Casa men being messy? Because we got Tay lying by omission about Zack Attack and making it seem like Sincere was really the only one that was doing the most, as if Casey was not exploring everybody out there, up and down and through there. As if Corbin was not on a mission. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was weird how people were covering for certain people and trying to make people look bad. Like especially Anaya, because y'all make it seem like Anaya does absolutely nothing. So I knew immediately Corbin was going to run that conversation back to Casey. I knew that was going to happen, and I was so disgusted. Anaya and Tay have a conversation. And it was very interesting because Tay basically was like, listen, I don't have any, I don't want there to be any issues with us regarding Casey. Anaya's like, look, my issue is with the man. My issue is with KC. And that's why I didn't understand when y'all got on Anaya about the Soul stuff. She never came at Soul. She came at KC. Yeah, she went to go interrupt their talks, but it was for her to cuss KC's out. You know what I'm saying? Because of what the people were saying in the villa. She wasn't going to cuss Soul out or going to drag Soul. And this is the same thing with TT. Basically, Anaya was like, listen, all the smoke that I got, all the issues that I got is with KC. It's on site with KC. I don't really want to talk to him right now, but that's on that. TT then starts giving affirmations just like Casey used to do. You're beautiful. You're a strong black woman. You know what I'm saying? You're a stallion. You look so good. You play volleyball. I play volleyball. I wanted to eat you up. What? Listen, I'm glad Tay understood the bigger picture after the foolishness the other night of little girl in Trinity. You know what I'm saying? However, if you are going to sit here in a conversation and say that you would have cussed out KC worse than Anaya did, you know what I'm saying? but you're still gonna go canoodle with KC because you think that you've won the prize. I don't get these people. I do not get these people. So they hug it out. They're all cool because Anaya said anytime there's an issue in here, it's not about these ladies. It's about how these men are treating the ladies. And I respect that. I respect the fact that when it was Trinity, when it was Anaya, you know what I'm saying, when it was Melanie, when they were all trying to get their whackings in, it was about the men. And it was unfortunate that the Casa girls inserted themselves to make it about themselves. It wasn't about them. Then we got a conversation with Casey and Corbin. And I can't remember, I think Sincere was there as well. Here goes Corbin. Yeah, I heard from the Casa guys that Anaya, she met her perfect match in Casa Amore. And they were apparently kissing each other every morning and night, like a couple. And here goes KC. Well, why didn't she pick him? I'm just like, you know what? And he was trying to explain, he think due to it being a short period of time of Casa, Anaya probably felt that she had a stronger connection with you, da-da-da-da-da. And Casey's like, but I built something stronger with Trinity in a couple of days compared to 3 weeks in Anaya. Let's just talk about it. You got your DICK wet. Like, can we just say what it was? You got your DICK wet. Anaya wasn't going to be doing all of that on national TV. And especially with all of the people who are going back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Trying to, because I feel like part of it was Casey was telling different versions of events to different people, and they were running it back to Anaya. But also, some of these other islanders quickly sabotaged y'all quick, fast, in a hurry. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't realize that y'all had the winning ticket. That 100K was y'all's. That all y'all had to fight was the Brinity fans for black love. But KC, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't stay the course. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't stay the course, and the mask began to slip when Soul got into the villa. And then the mask completely disappeared, fell off, you know what I'm saying? Was thrown in the trash, never to be found of again at Casa Amore, right? So I feel like with Casey, now he's mad in the confessional talking about, well, I don't understand what Anaya's so upset about. If she's, you know what I'm saying, if she had such this great connection, why didn't she choose him? And I'm like, see, these Casa people are being messy. These Casa people are being messy, and we need a movie night, right? So then Casey is also telling Caleb that he cares about Anaya. You know what I'm saying? He just hates the hostile energy. He hates that there's always drama all the time. But I thought you just said last night that you didn't give an FUCK. I thought you just said last night that you didn't care about Anaya, you didn't care about her feelings because you were happy with your choice. Now you're back to, oh, I care about Anaya. So is this for the cameras or is this genuine? Or because Anaya was not dumped from the villa, now you want to act like you care, but you're still not checking on her. You're still not ignoring her. But when it was Soul that was crying, you went to go check on her. When it was Anaya that cried after the bombshells that got there, you were wiping away her tears because you said it hurts you when you see people cry. But now that the mask is off, now you don't give an F. And you badmouth Anaya so bad, and now TT's getting to know Anaya, and it's not all the bad things that she said about her. And then he made this comment, every day is some BS. And I'm like, but part of this is your fault, Casey. You have not been man enough to just tell Anaya what it was. And there was so much disrespect last night, the night before, that, you know what I'm saying? You can't come back from that. And the fact that you won't even give an apology, you won't say anything, it just shows who your character is. So, Anaya also mentions that she misses Carl. She tells Sincere and Zack Attack that she has missed Carl. After she also, you know, had said earlier that she didn't feel beautiful, she didn't feel respected. Sincere says that they're going to be there for her regardless and everything else, but where were y'all last night? Where were y'all last night? Then as well, we get to a text message. One of the Casa girls gets it, and they let them know that it's going to be a twerk-off cake type of challenge, all of this and all of that. And this challenge is featuring none other than a guest appearance for the second year in a row of Megan Thee Stallion. So they've got, some swimwear that is donated from Megan Thee Stallion's swimwear line. And there's going to be some twerking. There's going to be all of the things, right? And first, Megan Thee Stallion surprised the girls in the dressing room. I don't think she's effing with the Casa girls, but she really uplifted Melanie's, really uplifted Anaya, and said Anaya really needs to show her power and show really what she is working with. So ultimately, I respect that from Meg Thee Stallion, right? She loves Kenzie splits and everything else. Like, really just uplifted primarily the OG girls, right? Then, what was that? The Persian cat oiling down Anaya's booty. She was in awe of Anaya's booty, y'all. Like, it was insane. Then Meg Thee Stallion went to go see the boys. And, they were so excited. Bryce was happy to give Meg Thee Stallion a tour. Zach was trying to show off his twerking, and it was a no. You know what I'm saying? But Dylan was very happy to see Megan Thee Stallion. Nonetheless, we get to the actual challenge, and it was a couple of rounds. It's 3 rounds, right? So the first round is a variation of the twerking challenge that was last season. However, this go around, it's guys versus girls, and you have to play musical chairs. And this is where things get freaked out for me again, because it's a game of musical chairs, right? And then when the music stops, or Meg Thee Stallion puts the pots together, you're supposed to sit on a seat that is filled with cake. So you're in these scantily clad outfits if you're a woman, right? And you have to sit on a cake where there is frosting and cake all up in your hoo-ha. All up in your hoo-ha, all up in your derriere. And I'm like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what type of game is this? But in between that, before you have to sit on, you know what I'm saying, the musical chairs, you're twerking. And the way Anaya and Tay was throwing ASS, you know what I'm saying? And then at one point, Anaya threw ASS in Melanie's face, and I was cracking up. Boy, Anaya, oh my gosh, Anaya and Tay can throw it. You know what I'm saying? So we get to the final round, and it's like Anaya, Tay, Trinity, and I think Kenzie are like the final 4. And it was like Trinity and Anaya once the sound came, that was like fighting over that seat, and I think Tay got over on Anaya and won. So that happened with that. So then it was the men's turn. I wasn't impressed with anything the men was doing at their attempts to twerking or anything else, but ultimately KC won. Megan Thee Stallion was not happy. Megan Thee Stallion does not like KC. I don't know if she was a KC fan before Casa Amore, but she does not like KC at all. And I know there's going to be people who are going to be mad about that, right? The next round, the men get to throw cakes at the women. And I was of confusion of some of the cakes that were being thrown at some of the ladies. Some of it just it made 0 sense. It made 0 sense. Like KC coming for Trinity. He had this whole speech that he was mad that Trinity basically defended Anaya and said that Trinity was talking too much. No. What? Anaya jumps in, and it's like, it's really the audacity, right? You got so much stuff to say, Neil, but you still haven't even pulled me for a chat. You still haven't even had a conversation with me and everything else. And Megan Thee Stallion is listening to this speech, and she's like, Casey, you really want to do this? You really want to come at these people as if, you know what I'm saying, your actions at Casa Amore wasn't it? And then Casey had this look on his face, like realization set in. And because Megan Thee Stallion was like, you felt that you were respectful the way you went about things at Casa Amore, that you couldn't pursue TT respectfully. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then it hit Casey like O-S-H-I-T. O-S-H-I-T. I will say, on the flip side, I think Corbin finally got it. That his actions, the way, and I hated that Megan Thee Stallion had to spell it out for them at the end. But I think Corbin eventually got it when he kept getting whacked. And that his actions were not okay at Casa Amore. It's not even the issue of exploring or coming back with a different connection. it's the disrespect to the current couples and just putting them down, talking about them like they're trash, like they're nothing, like they're terrible, like all of these things. That was my whole point. People were trying to turn stuff into other things, but they were ignoring the comments, and some people were trying to write it off as locker room talk. No. If somebody is talking about me like that behind my back, I want nothing. No, absolutely not. So the girls the next round, they get their turn, and instead of them throwing cakes, they get, what is it called? Where you do the frosting. It was like a jumbo size type of frosting where you could like squirt out the cream and cream the men. Like, there was just so many weird things that happened. You know what I'm saying? Anaya got cake on her because of her dumping Carl. Jen got pied by Sincere because he was saying, I don't know, it was weird because I was like, Jen's not a main character. She's not even a factor on this show. I was like, I don't know if he did that as a joke because I was like, she's a non-factor on the show. But primarily when it was the girls' turn, Casey and Corbin mostly got whacked, and Sincere. And, there was something funny I forgot to mention. So when Corbin and Parita went to bed after Casa, she said he was trying to kiss her. She told him, "You're not kissing me until you wash that stinky breath." So Corbin got up out of there to go brush his teeth, brush his mouth, brush his tongue, to go back into the bed and kiss Parita. And then Parita also squirted him and said, "You're not going to play with me." So I feel like the Casa girls have realized that the energy they were trying to give, and I feel like part of the reason that TT and Persian Cat had the wrong energy with the OG women was because of Casey and Corbin, because they had talked so horribly about these women that they came in with the wrong energy and the wrong perception about them. And now that they've spent an entire day with these OGs, they realize these men put 20 on 10 to really make it seem so bad, but really they were not. Really they were sweethearts. Really they were genuine people. Really they were amazing people. You've got a whole army of people who are ready to knuck if you buck on Naya's behalf. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, they fell in line. They fell in line. Anaya had, the best creaming of Casey. You know what I'm saying? Basically said it was the disrespect of it all. It was the humiliation of it all. It was the no regard. He's rolling his eyes. He's trying to bend down to not receive most of the cream. But it's like, you got to own it. You've got to own it. And then to just not even have a conversation, even though Anaya does not want anything to do with him. And he's like, "Oh, it just happened last night. But a whole another day has passed." You know what I'm saying? But that was just bad. It was just really bad, because for Anaya to have that reaction, have that whole breakdown, hyperventilating, you're laughing at her, you think all this stuff is cute. It's just not a good look, especially with the history of the treatment of black women on this show. It's not a good look. And then it's like people get upset when, they're seeing Swirl Nation pushed, or they're seeing divesting pushed, or all of the things, right? So, at the conclusion of the challenge, there was one other piece, but before that, Megan Thee Stallion, basically was like, "Listen, look at here. I need," she voted for Zack Attack and Kenzie to come to the front, and they had to basically use their face to go into this cake to get a treat, to get a prize. Kenzie had like a 15 or 20 second start on Zack Attack, you guys. Why did she open up something that looked like a candle? She thought it was a message in a bottle. Meanwhile, Zack is still going, and he gets the treat that says it's a heart, a pink heart shape that says "Revenge is sweet." So Megan Thee Stallion says, "Revenge is sweet." Guess what? We got a little surprise for y'all. America has been voting on favorite boy and favorite girl. of Casa Amore. And then the way Sincere's face dropped, the way, you know what I'm saying, KC was a little bit nervous. Was he thinking Soul was about to come back? I couldn't make his reaction, because his reaction was pretty interesting, because I'm like, why do you care who's coming back since you're locked in with TT? So anyways, they said your favorite boy, favorite girl from Casa Amore who got dumped. So then the camera kept panning to Sincere and Melanie, and Megan Thee Stallion was like, let's look at here. Let's welcome Amore. Let's welcome Carl. And Anaya, who has been crying, who's been pissed off, you know what I'm saying? She finally smiled again. Finally smiled, showed all of her teeth. Her and Carl, you know what I'm saying, are waving. She keeps sending him like the heart with her hands and stuff. She's completely elated. And it was funny because the girls, I think, ran to go greet Amore. Anaya went straight to Carl. One of the guys, I don't know if it was Corbin or KC, I heard them say to Carl, I've heard so much about you. Do any of you guys know who it was that said that? Let me know in the comments. That basically was the episode. The preview for tomorrow is going to be lit. It's going to be a lit episode. I feel like either movie night is going to start at the end of Monday's episode, or it's got to be Tuesday. It's got to be Tuesday. If they wait till Thursday to do movie night, that's going to be insane. I feel like by Tuesday, we should be having movie night if you're asking us to vote on the clip Saturday. I feel like there should be a quicker turnaround, and we should have movie night by Tuesday, because we got to vote some people out. We got to get rid of some people for After Sun for this upcoming week. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, I'm hoping by Tuesday, or no later than Thursday, is movie night. And then Friday would be the elimination. And the preview. TT is scheming. TT is with Amore and scheming. I know Amore said she is not trying to, you know, be a part of the triangle with Sincere and Melanie, but low-key, I feel like she still might have feelings for him. Basically, TT is trying to get Amore to tell Melanie everything that happened, everything that went down. Then Carl and Anaya are in soul ties. They give a hug. He said he's happy to be back and he wants to explore Anaya. Here's the thing, you guys. Those of you guys who are hoping for an Amore and Carl couple, I'm going to say this again. Carl is specifically back for Anaya. Anaya either is going to lock in and take advantage of this and see this through the last couple of weeks with Carl, or this is going to completely combust, right? But Carl was specifically brought back for Anaya. So all of y'all that are trying to come up with these Delulu ships, all of y'all that are trying to hope for an Anaya and KC reunion and all this other foolishness and all this other madness, that is going to be on the kibosh come movie night. That is going to be on the kibosh come movie night, because it seems like production wants Casey out. I don't know if Casey said or did something to production behind the scenes, but the complete 180 that has happened on Casey's edit pre-Casa Amore, leading up to like a few episodes before Casa Amore and beyond, it seems like production has had it with Casey. And then he was talking back a couple of times to Megan Thee Stallion. I'm like, I'm like, Casey don't get it. Casey don't get it. That ultimately, you're saying it's about you and you want to be selfish, but this is still a show. And the show is about popularity. It is about who likes you and who doesn't like you. And that's the piece that Corbin and Casey are missing. You can't just be out here talking disrespectfully to women. I know there's a lot more men that are into the show now, that are watching the show, that are all the things. But women are not going to take disrespect like that. They're not going to, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. You can't talk like that about these women. And I was so happy that Megan Thee Stallion told them, do not put these ladies down to big up these Casa girls. You know what I'm saying? You could have went about it on your pursuit, on your exploring, without having to even mention the OG girls. But it was the disrespect, it was the disrespectful comments that really pissed people off, that really had people a certain type of way. So hopefully the men got it, and then Megan Thee Stallion told them they need to step up their game, that none of them are doing anything, none of them are planning dates, none of them are being gentlemen. She did not say that at all last season, because even though I know people don't like Ace, but he was leading the charge of getting these men together to do nice stuff for these girls. And we had bare minimum with Dylan with his massage thing, his spa thing with Kenzie, and bare minimum with Corey and Melanie with his little picnic or whatever, makeshift picnic. But also production, where are the dates? Are we going to send the people who got voted back in on America on dates? Are you going to send Carl and Anaya on a date? Are you going to send Amore and Sincere on a date, or whatever the case? Because I saw y'all feature a boat at the first look, but nobody was on the boat. So nonetheless, that is it for this video. That is it for this review of episode 23. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What did you guys think of the episode? Please let me know what y'all thought in the comments, and please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post the content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.